May the 5th be with you. And there it is, guys. Job well done by me. Yo, it's me again. So in my last video, I showed you guys that I installed a hitch receiver on the front of the van. And I did that for a very specific reason. And that reason is coming in the mail today. And once it gets here, I will do an unboxing and show you exactly what I got. But to give you a rough idea, it is an electric bike. And I put that hitch on the front of the van so I have somewhere to carry the electric bike, because obviously I have stuff on my back hitch right there. So with that being said, I've been searching over the last week or so for different options that will carry the bike on the front of the van, you know, like a bike rack. And there are some decent options out there that I like, but they're also like $650, $700. But I'm not really looking to spend that kind of money. So I ended up going with a motorcycle carrying rack that I got online, and it is a folding stowaway sort of rack. So when you're not using it, it folds up and gets out of the way. So I got that in the mail yesterday, and I attempted to install it on the front of the van, but there is a piece that's like a pivot piece for the actual rack to pivot on to go up, and the holes that go between the pivot piece and the actual 2-inch bar that go into the pivot piece, the holes don't even line up to put the bolt through. The bolt goes in at an angle, and I'm not going to modify it in any way to make it fit. I put that back in the box, and it's in my van, and I'm going to be returning that today. I have a valid excuse that it is actually made of junk, but I do have all this scrap material right here from a previous build. I had this before I bought the van. I built a teardrop trailer to pull behind my Jeep, and this is scrap material I have from that. So I have this 2-inch bar here, and this will actually slide right in the front hitch. And then I have these 1-inch bars here that are steel, and I have enough material here that I could probably make my own bike rack, and I can make it the size I want, but I have to wait for the bike to get here so I can do some measurements from the center of each tire so I know exactly how to build this thing out. But ultimately what I'm going to do, I want to be able to take this and cut some pieces and weld them in here. I'll weld a piece here, and then I will weld another piece probably somewhere over here, and that's going to give me room for the front tire to drop into this crevice enough for it to secure it into place. And then I'll measure the back tire as well, and I'll put another piece here, I'll weld a piece here, and then I'll weld another piece somewhere over here, and then I'll have a place for the back tire to go into. Once I get that part together, I'm gonna have to cut this and make it shorter, and then I'll be able to weld the piece I make with this on top of this, and I will have a bike rack. I'll be able to put a eye hook here and weld that in place, and put another eye hook over here to weld in place, and then this piece I build will go across this way, and I'll be able to put the bike in here, and I'll be able to strap it to this eye hook and strap it to this eye hook. That should do what I need it to do. It shouldn't take up too much room in the front of the van, it shouldn't stick out too far, and it should do exactly what I want. So I'm just waiting for the bike to get here today, then I'll unbox it for you guys and show you what I picked up, and then I'm gonna get to welding and making a bike rack for the front of my van. Well, 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 look who decided to show up. So here it is, guys. This is what I've been waiting for about a week. We're gonna go ahead and pull this out of the box, and I'm gonna show you guys what's inside. I'm gonna pop down this kickstand. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing all unwrapped and set up, and we'll show you guys what it looks like here after all of this protective wrapping is removed. I think that's everything except that warning sign. So there it is, guys. This is the Lectric Xpedition dual battery cargo e-bike. There's a warning back here. I believe the payload of the whole bike is 450 pounds. So I weigh 250. So that means I can put another 200 pounds on the back of this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this mess off camera and get this box out of here. Open up that box next, and I believe the seat's in there. Heck yeah, this is sick. Here's another look at the bike. It looks pretty sweet. Pretty nice looking e-bike. I'm gonna go ahead and open this box and see what's inside. All right, let's see what's in the box. This is the charger. I actually have two of these. I bought two so I can charge both batteries at the same time. And the other battery's over there. The other charger, I mean, is over there. Here's the seat. And one thing about this bike is this seat is kind of actually ridiculous, and I'll show you why. I don't know why you would need a seat that high, but that's how it's designed for some reason. I mean, you gotta be 10 feet tall. Don't need it that high. So the quick release pedals were in the box with the charger, and here they are. And supposedly they just pop right in place. You pull this out and they lock in just like that. Now the bike is complete. However, the handlebars are not in the right position. So apparently these handlebars can be adjusted in different ways. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit on here And apparently there's a way to adjust the handlebars. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust them like so. I think that feels pretty good. And then you just push this clamp back down, and now they're locked in place. There is the display. Energy bar is not very energized, so it's going to need charging. But I am curious to how this thing rides. But first, I need to pump up the tires. Safety is number one priority. I'm going to go ahead and roll up my sleeves so they don't get in my way. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't cut this off. Basically, I just have a cut started, and I'll work my way around this and get this cut out. May the 5th be with you. I'm going to go ahead and just tack it right here in a couple spots, and then move on down to the other side. Could be better, but not bad. All right, guys. I need to flip this thing over, weld all the other contact points. So this is all welded together for the most part. I might touch it up a little bit, but I just had the bike up here on this, on the floor, kind of holding it in place, attempting to decide where I want my next 4-inch piece. I've already gone ahead and cut and cleaned up, fitted 2 of these. I just have to figure out where I want them, and I think I want the front tire to be 19 inches from here. So I'm going to tack that on there in case I need to remove it, and then refit it down here on the floor to double check where I want my back tire to be. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like on the floor, and then we'll get the last piece fitted, get this thing welded to the bar down there, get it on the van, and see how it works. Let me show you guys what it looks like real quick. One wheel will go in this area. One wheel will go in this area. And it's pretty well constructed. I think it's going to do just fine. We'll let this cool. Like I said, test fit the bike, make sure it sits in there fine. If it does, I'll finish up these welds, and I'm going to weld it to the tongue piece, and then I'm going to get this in the van, get the bike on the van, and see what that looks like tonight. But it's going to be dark, so then I'll show you guys tomorrow in the light what it looks like, and hopefully everything will work out. And then I'll get my eye hooks in there. I bought a couple eye hooks today, so these will go in that piece down there through the whole piece, and this is how I'll have one on the back and one on the front, and that's how I will strap this bike to the carrier I'm making, and that'll be the end of it. So see you in a minute. Here we are. It's 10 o'clock, a little after 10. Here is the rack I have been working on. I just got this piece welded to this piece, and I think I'm learning how to weld a little bit better. I don't know if it's the new welder or if it's that my batteries in my welding helmet were going bad, so I couldn't adjust them that well before. Now I can adjust them and see what I'm doing a lot better. So anyways, with that being said, guys, I have this welded enough for now. It's pretty well welded. I mean, it is not the best welds, but some of them are better than others. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this on the van after it cools down. I literally just finished, so I'm going to give it 15 minutes. I'm going to go put it on the van, put the bike up there, just kind of, whoa, moth, get a feel for it. And then tomorrow I'm going to actually grind down a bunch of the welds that don't look very great and redo them and try to fix up some of these welds now that I'm getting a better hang of it. And it'll be daylight, so then I'll show you guys what it looks like on the front of the van, and, my thoughts, whether or not I think it's secure enough to hold the bike for trips and going over bumps and stuff. So some of the welds are good, some of them aren't so good. This one's actually not too bad. It's hard to see, but this portion of it over here on the right is actually a pretty good weld. So I'm not too concerned about it, and I'm gonna call it a night, and I will see you guys tomorrow with the final outcome of this rack build. Yo, quick update. So I got my new support pieces on here. This piece here, this piece here, this is on the bottom. This is flipped upside down. And I'm actually really impressed with my weld here. This is a great weld. This side, not so good. This side looks like a real weld, and I'm happy about that. I feel more confident in my welding abilities. Anyways, here is the other side of the supports. And this weld right here turned out really good too. I know it's hard to see with all that slag and everything, and it turned out really well. So it's welded all around, and I know for a fact it's not gonna break here. If anything broke, it would be like one of these over here or whatnot, but the bike won't go anywhere, and I don't think anything's gonna break. So what I'm gonna do now is grab this wire wheel and this wire wheel and go through and clean up all the dirt so I can get this thing painted. All right, guys, quick update. Before I paint it, I decided to mount it properly, make sure it's going to be stable. And there it is, guys. Job well done by me. So what I have here are the eye hooks installed. One here and one in the back. And then I have two straps connected to this crossbar thing I bought there. So one strap goes to the eye hook down there, and one goes to the eye hook down there. I have this piece of foam that came with the bike packaging that I put in here to prevent this from rubbing on the sprocket, and it's sturdy. It ain't going nowhere. And I have my kryptonite lock on here that goes from the top bar all the way down to the bottom, and that's locked in place so no one can walk off with my bike. Pretty good, pretty happy with it. I just have to put on the piece that's going to keep this from swaying back and forth, and I'll add that once I get the rack painted. So for now I'm going to take this apart, take the bike off, and go paint the rack, and I'll end up putting it back on here in a little bit later. Ugh. Those bars are bending quite a bit though. I don't know if you see that. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it's bending towards the back, so I'm not sure if I should be concerned about that or not. I don't think so.
That's a nice bike.
Thanks, man.
Where'd you get it at?
On their website.
Gas, right?
It's battery. Yeah. Turned out pretty good, guys. I'm gonna let it dry here for about an hour, and then I will flip it over and apply the undercoat and recoat it wherever necessary, and that'll be it. We'll be done. It has been a couple, 2 or 3 days, but I am packing up my van because we're going on a fishing trip for the next week. I got the bike loaded up front. There she is on the new rack. So I got the rack all powder coated, or not powder coated, truck bed lined. Turned out pretty good, and it's solid. The whole bike rack's pretty solid. I'll shake it here. I don't think it's going anywhere. If you decide that you want to make one yourself, that's how you can do it. That's how I did it. And we're gonna head out today to a place called 11 Mile Reservoir. It is near Lake George, Colorado. So I hope to release another video, maybe 2, this week about that trip. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.